If you really understand Bitcoin, it's because I've got an asset where the energy has a half-life of forever, and the half-life of energy in gold is 30 years, and the half-life of your money or your energy in the dollar is 10 years, and the half-life of your energy in the bolivar is 1 year. All the smart people in the world that don't trust the bank, don't trust the currency, want to keep their money, they're all discovering Bitcoin.
The halving is days away and Bitcoin has finished its highest monthly close ever. With 7 straight months of green candles, Bitcoin has not done this since 2012. Withdrawals are soaring with the Spot ETF sparking a historic supply squeeze. Where are we headed? We're going to dive into that. Also, Saylor delivered a speech at the Abundance Summit and it was incredible. Do you think Bitcoin will be banned? Will someone make a copy of it and make it obsolete? Do you think Bitcoin will be hacked? Well, we got news for you.
Party, that ball. Yeah, come and have a good time with G.O.D.
Every single powerful person in the world is asked the question, what do you think of Bitcoin? Every world leader, every major investor, every major influencer, everybody's got to have an opinion. Ask yourself the question, how many of them spend 100 hours studying Bitcoin to form an opinion? The world's full of people, they haven't spent 10 hours studying it. I don't think there's a single person with a negative opinion that spent 100 hours studying it.
Hey, Giga Chad's right. No one who actually takes the time to understand Bitcoin can refute it or deny it. All they can do is attach some illogical response to it. And more than likely, it's fragile people that are attacking Bitcoin. Probably been eating way too many carbs. And it's plain to see they're suffering from BDS. Bitcoin derangement syndrome is a real issue and it's facing many collectivists and Keynesians all across the planet. Now, some people are not suffering from BDS, and they just happen to be the largest asset managers on the planet. Check out these numbers. Since the launch of the Spot Bitcoin ETFs, over 9.5 billion in Bitcoin have been withdrawn from exchanges, and that's coming from Glassnode. The entire withdrawal trend started on January 11th, and it has led to a reduction of over 136,000 Bitcoin from exchange balances. The dynamics of Bitcoin supply are increasingly favoring bulls, with continued mass withdrawals observed over the first quarter. The volume of Bitcoin on exchanges has dipped to its lowest since April 2018, with only 2.3 million Bitcoin remaining, indicating a substantial decline available in Bitcoin for trading and purchase. This trend continued with one of the largest single-day withdrawals occurring on March 27th, where over 22,000 Bitcoin, equivalent to 1.5 billion, were withdrawn. The impact of U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs, though they have been operational for just under 3 months, is becoming a pivotal factor in the market. Many experts are closely watching the ETF's impact on Bitcoin supply, anticipating a major supply squeeze. The mother of all supply squeezes, hashtag MOAS. And not to mention, the entire scenario is expected to intensify, especially with the upcoming block subsidy halving event on April 19th, which is going to further reduce the rate of new Bitcoin entering the market to just 3.125 per block. Charles Edwards, founder of Capriol Investments, commented on the significance of the upcoming halving event, noting it as the, quote, the biggest halving in Bitcoin's history. He also pointed out that Bitcoin will become even more scarce than gold with the supply growth rate halving. It looks like smart money is discovering Bitcoin, and it hasn't taken them long to catch on. What are they catching on to? Well,
okay, here's a $10 bill. This is garbage. This is garbage. You people in South Africa, you have your rand, right? That's going to zero. That's going to zero. This is going to zero too. Euros are going to zero. The yen's going to zero. The Chinese currency is going to zero. It's all going to zero against Bitcoin.
It is all going to zero against Bitcoin. Not to mention, we have Jay Powell coming on today. Many are realizing that while transitory was a boat full of bullshit, inflation is coming down. Why are prices still going up? That's part of the sick fiat contract. Prices will always go up. Your purchasing power will always go down. And this leads your quality of life to go down. And as we can see in the US, life expectancy is dropping. Is the broken money the largest culprit? Like, if we got to the root cause of all of this, yes, we hear that inflation is theft a lot, but inflation really is death. It's a slow bleeding, a deceptive redistribution from the poor and middle class to the political class and those connected to the money printer. So the question you have to ask is, do you want to live?
Come with me if you want to live.
Okay, good. That's awesome. Okay. So if you want to survive and thrive, well, first, we have to cut out the cancer and stop the bleeding ourselves. Step 1, burn fiat. No, wait, that is later. Okay, step 1. Buy Bitcoin. You spend the burning broken money and acquire the perfect money.
If you only have $10 or, put it into Bitcoin and buy some every single day. You got to get rid of your fiat money. The Argentinian peso is one of the worst piles of dog shit in the whole financial world. Just having that in your pocket makes you as less of a human being. You need to convert all that into Bitcoin as soon as possible. I'm not saying anything new here. Anyone who lives in Argentina knows the truth. That money is never going to be worth anything. They're always going to devalue. It's always going to go to nothing, and you have no way of escaping poverty driven by fiat money printing except Bitcoin. So the question is for you. When do you want to stop being a poor idiot? When do you want to stop getting it out of the gutter? When do you want to start talking with Satoshi? That's the question for you. That's when you buy Bitcoin.
Okay, now continue to acquire cuckbucks at breakneck speed and use this to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible before the suits run the exchanges. And as time goes by, you're going to witness your time preference lower, your quality of life improve, and your wealth improve. The current way of the world really doesn't feel like things were meant to be like this. The rat race, the maze, people working harder, multiple jobs, running themselves into the dirt, doing all that just to stay in place. And all that time, energy, sweat, labor that used to allow any and all the opportunity at an American dream, that white picket fence, the advertisement. Well, since we've started to go this direction, call it whatever you want to call it, collectivism. Well, homelessness, record highs, crime, just turn on the TV. Political disenfranchisement, record high. Geopolitical tension, I think we're like a little past the Cold War, and it all stems from those who can print money, bail each other out, and steal from you. And they do it over and over. I think it's time to opt out.
People, if they had the option to choose a different system, I think would choose a different system. And so Bitcoin is that path, right? I mean, you can choose to opt out of the serial criminality of Wall Street and Wall Street banks by moving from fiat money to hard money, Bitcoin, right?
Absolutely. This is the incredible thing about Bitcoin and why it's a truly astonishing innovation, because the men with guns can't really stop it. It's not exactly something that can be stopped because it's not physical. In my book, I have a section of the book that discusses how to kill Bitcoin, and I illustrate how it's just not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. So effectively, anybody in the world with an internet connection, and that means a growing percentage of the planet right now, is able to have access to a hard form of money that can't be inflated. And that's really the key concept. We're putting the men with guns on the side because people now have the choice to opt out. They have the choice to go around the men with guns, and the guns can't stop data going through wires. It's an alternative to a system of government monopolies on central banks around the world, where you just get to choose to take part in a system that performs the functions of central banks in terms of payment settlement internationally and monetary policy without having to resort to the central bank. It's an astonishing idea if you think about it.
It's time to stop taking the bad drugs and stop letting them bleed you. How do you do it? You do that by adopting perfect money, thermodynamically sound money. Now, before Giga Chad blows your minds, let's take a moment to recognize our sponsors, the Bitcoin Way. Now, Simply Bitcoin originals are powered by the Bitcoin Way. They are your IT team in the Bitcoin world. Understanding the why of Bitcoin sometimes isn't challenging, especially in clown world, but the how can be. And at the Bitcoin Way, they are here to help bridge that gap, marrying the why to the how. They can help you with all things Bitcoin, from setting up your first wallet and node, all the way up to inheritance planning, accepting Bitcoin payments for your business, and all aspects of Bitcoin security and privacy. They even work with their clients on configuring routers, devices, and networks, and just improving their overall digital hygiene. Also, growing interest in UTXO management and coin joining. The Bitcoin Way has got you covered. Hey, looking to get started? You can book a free 30-minute call using that link below. Now, ladies and gentlemen, maxis and regarded believers in a second best, Michael Saylor.
So when I got to my skeptical phase, I just asked, will it be banned? Will it be copied? Will it be hacked? And the conclusion was, it's only if it's understood to be property, not currency, then no, it's not going to be banned in a country that gives you property rights, which means it's banned in Cuba, it's banned in North Korea. If the world becomes communist and they deprive you of the ability to own things, that's an existential risk. But that's not a problem in Russia or China or the US right now. So not banned. Will it be copied? It was copied 10,000 times. They all failed. This is the winner of the 10,000 experiments. So yeah, it worked. And now will it be hacked? And Satoshi's got $60 billion in a wallet out there, then that's the reward for hacking it, and no one's figured out how to get the money yet. So what I think is, I think the way to understand Bitcoin is everything you learned in economics and about money in your entire life was pseudoscience. And you can't blame the economists for being mired in pseudoscience and superstition, because we never discovered perfect money. And so Bitcoin is the first time that we actually discovered a thermodynamically sound, mathematically sound economic protocol.
The greatest defense against 1984 is 21 million, my friends. That was absolutely epic, and I really hope you took advantage of the dip today, because like we said before, the supply squeeze the ETFs are bringing on is about to heat up in a major way in less than 3 weeks, with the halving cutting the new supply of Bitcoin coming into the market in half. And that marks the first time in history an asset, specifically money, has become rarer than gold. What could that mean? Where are we headed? How valuable really is Bitcoin? Well, be sure to check out this episode. And if you like today's episode, like, subscribe, share the Sound Money Gospel. Give us a bump! And don't miss the #1 Bitcoin-only live news show Monday through Friday at 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. Follow us on Twitter for all the latest breaking news. Set those notifications, and we will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Hey, I'll catch you all Thursday. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.